gonna try to do, if she doesn't protest too much, make it a big deal, make it seem like I'm torturing her. Something I've never done with them before is de-shedding. You can see, just from me holding her, I am now covered in Chihuahua hair. So, we're gonna see how she does with this. She may be okay, she may not be. We might do this with Paco instead. But the other thing is that I always restrain small dogs with this around the shoulder. There are some other implements of ways to restrain dogs. There's some hammocks and some different things like that, but she doesn't really need that. So pretty much what I'm gonna do, since I don't know if she's gonna tolerate the blow dryer, normally I would do this after the bath and the blow dry. Oh, does that feel good, baby? So it looks like she's gonna be fine. But normally I would do this after the blow dry, but again, this is not something I do with her, and I don't know if she's gonna tolerate the blow dryer, and she's a short-haired dog, so I'm not gonna make her do it if I don't have to. I mean, if she doesn't mind, I'll do it, but normally I would do this after the bath and the blow dry, because you would be stimulating the skin a little bit less, because with the bath and then the blow dryer would be getting, you know, 50% of this stuff off as I'm blow drying, and then I would do this part. But since I don't know how she's going to act, we're going to do this first. But it's still the same method. You hold the skin in front of where you're working, so that way you're not bumping over spine, you're not bumping over, you know, skin where it rolls together. You want to hold it nice and tight. You don't have to hurt them. And the first couple times you do it, they may be like, oh my God, what are you doing? And kind of freak out a little bit, and that's okay. You just keep doing what you're doing and keep telling them they're being good. If they want to lay down, that's fine too. Sometimes they like it because it feels good. Other times they kind of freak out because they've never had it before. And before anybody posts or asks, I have been desperately trying to figure out where to get more of these, but I can't yet. This was something I ordered from my wholesale supplier and sold a few of several years ago, and now they don't make them anymore. So, but this is my favorite tool. But there's a lot of de-shedding tools you can use. I do not recommend the brand name one. I'm not going to say the brand name because I don't want them really mad at me. But their tools are very sharp, and they cut the coat instead of just pulling it out, and so you have to be really careful with what you use. This one is very dull, but you can see it looks kind of like the fine end looks very much like a 40 blade, but I don't recommend using a 40 blade because again, they're very sharp on the end. This is very dull. I'm running my finger right across that, like it doesn't hurt me. So right now I'm using the coarse side. And then there's some other different tools that you can use. You can actually use your stripping knives. If it's a really dull old stripping knife, you can use that. Which I'm probably going to use up around her neck because I need a bigger area. So that's what I'm going to do. Just trying to, you know, stretch the skin up in front of where I'm working as much as possible. And you can see then this takes out even more coat from a different layer, because that's getting down a little bit deeper into the coat than the other tool. So if you own a dog that needs to be de-shedded, you kind of have to figure out what kind of coat you have. And if you want to email me or talk to me about it, I am happy to talk to people about dog grooming all day long. I will message you back. I will have you send me pictures of your dog, whatever you need, whatever works. So, you know, to make it so that you can keep your dog clean and happy. I have no problem with that at all. But you can actually see how all of a sudden she's getting really nice and shiny. That's because we're pulling out all this dead coat and we're spreading around all of her natural oils on her skin. And she's like, oh, that feels good, lady. Do that some more. Is that good? Does that feel good? But see, you're pulling out different layer of fluff now because you're using a different tool. And then back here, she's got some bigger, longer stuff, so I'm going to use a different tool on that. And we'll see how it works. Now, of course, she's not thrilled about me grabbing her neck up here because that's a dominant gesture for dogs. And she is, you know, one of the bossies in the house, so she's kind of cringing a little bit. But I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. Tell her she's a good girl. But I did hit a big thick spot up here, so I'm going to come back again and just kind of work it a little bit at a time instead of trying to do the whole big thing because she's not used to it. But this is just like tons and tons and tons of hair for this little dog. And this is the stuff that falls all over your house. And no, if you shave the dog, it doesn't make them shed less. It just makes the little hairs tinier and you can't see them. So please don't shave this kind of dog. Don't shave your pug. Don't shave your short-haired Chihuahua. It doesn't help. It doesn't make their skin problems better. It actually makes it worse. I've been doing this a long time. So this is an Andis rake. This is the fine one. I don't think they make those anymore. I've got a wider one, but I don't know what the heck happened to it right at the moment. But again, a different tool for a different area of the hair. This is much longer coat as opposed to this, and they're usually longer around their neck and around the back side. So you can use that to pull coat out too. As long as you're trying to stretch the skin in front, I'm not choking her. I'm just pulling her skin and holding on to her head so she doesn't choke. Good girl. I feel good. And then I'm pulling the back of her neck with my other finger. Oh, sorry, excuse me. I'm just holding skin. I'm not pinching the skin. I'm just holding it and pulling it tight in front of where I'm working. Get more stuff. And I'm going to use this one back here because it's a little bit easier to get this long stuff. And I think it irritates those spots a little bit less than if you do too much. Now, if you find you're getting hair and hair and hair and hair and you're doing this for like, you know, 10, 15 minutes like we've been doing, stop and, you know, do it again next week. Don't keep, you know, doing it over and over and over again, because you're definitely at that point going to irritate their skin. All right, so that is basic de-shedding, and then I'll bathe her and we'll see if I can dry her. Maybe she'll let me a little bit. I'll put the happy hoodie on her and we'll try. But you can actually see, if we do maybe like a before and after picture, you can see that she's, you know, her coat's laying flatter, and you can see all the fluff and stuff that we got out of her as we were going along. And I think that's good enough for today, for her first time. If I was going to do this with her once a month, you know, then next month I would do a little bit more, and the month after I would do a little bit more, and then all of a sudden you're not getting as much hair because you're running into that cycle of the hair where there's not so much going. Now here in Florida, they shed year-round. It is a constant thing. We are constantly dealing with hair coming off of these short-haired dogs, and it's just because it never really gets cold enough. I think we might have, like, I don't know, maybe January they don't shed. I don't know. But down here, it's a constant thing. We're constantly getting, you know, this stuff out, and they're constantly changing over their coat. So if if you're doing this, if you're at home and this is your dog and you can do this a little bit every week, more power to you, because you'll have a lot less hair in your house to vacuum up and deal with.